Zenkaikon 2022, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Zenkaikon was a multi-genre convention held from March 25th through 27th, 2022 at the Lancaster County Convention Center in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Zenkaikon is back and we are all thrilled. We're glad it's back. They missed 2 conventions. Let's see how they did. But first, I do have a conflict of interest. I have a relationship with this convention. I was part of a group that had featured panelist status. For the good, I thought the COVID policy was well executed. They had signage up around the con notifying people about wearing their masks, and most attendees cooperated. There was overall very few problems with it. I think the increased security was a nice move this year. Yes, Zenkaikon has never had a real major problem needing security, but in this day and age, extra uniform security generally can't hurt. I thought the hotel staff were helpful when needed. Now, something interesting, they did not clean the rooms every day, which I'm generally fine with that. And if you needed help, you could just call them and they would come clean it or deliver towels, etc., etc. Generally, the hotel staff were quite good. I thought the dealer's room was good this year. The dealer's room was the standard Zenkaikon dealer's room. It was a combination of dealers and artist alley. There was some minor crowding at times, but overall, dealers had a great selection with a lot of stuff to buy. I like weird things like the con offering 2020 con merchandise. Yes, they basically had all the merchandise ready for 2020 when the convention was canceled due to COVID. I love that they offered these shirts. I bought one. It's just one of those weird, cute collector's things that you look at it and you're like, I kind of want to buy it. And I did. And I like the con offered it. I thought the tech staff that helped with setting up panels rooms did excellent work this year. They always tend to do pretty good work. The people we worked with were helpful. We did need 1 or 2 minor things worked on, and they addressed it quickly. I thought the Sunday crowd at Zenkaikon was excellent for a Sunday crowd. It was actually very, very busy for the most part, from say 10 to 2, even as late as 3. The crowd stuck around, which was a bit of a surprise. And at closing ceremonies, we learned that 30% of Zenkaikon staff was new this year, and they did excellent work. You couldn't tell this con had a lot of new staff behind it. The con kept running like it should. For the bad, I thought there was nothing downright bad this year. For the ugly, what should have been better? This is the first Zenkaikon where attendees got to experience the new hotel wing and the renovated rooms in the old hotel wing, and the rooms in both are ugly. I had a room in the old hotel wing that had been renovated. It feels smaller. I don't know what they were doing with the color choices. Ugly rooms, feel small, not great, and the rooms in the new hotel wing are even worse. I don't know who did the design work on this, but it is a major step backwards from what they used to be. Live 3 was a problem this year from the attendance perspective. A lot of panels, when this was not their fault, ended up in a room that they could not even come close to filling. It's a weird situation when you're paneling with few people. A lot of those panels could have ended up in Lives 5 and 6, and the ones with more attendance could have ended up in Lives 1 and 2. I think there's some questions about how they utilized Live 3. There was only maybe a few panels that actually got near to needing the amount of space in Live 3. I believe this is one of the areas the con's going to have to strongly look at. I would love to see the closing ceremonies time slot moved up. 4:30 was way too late. They either need to add a little more content at the end of the convention or move the closing ceremonies time slot up to 3:30. I thought it was a little bit late when I left. I did stay for closing, and I would have liked to be leaving here a little bit earlier. Now for a special section. I believe it's time for Zenkaikon to consider some future changes to its room lineups. I was actually surprised this discussion started at closing ceremonies when someone brought up about space utilization, and I'm glad it did. Zenkaikon has had a stable room lineup for most years, but I think it's time to really start looking at what rooms are being used for. To start, I believe Zenkaikon needs a larger video gaming room. Zenkaikon has had a weakness for video gaming for a long time, and a lot of other local conventions have actually outpaced them with their gaming rooms, particularly SetsuCon and DerpyCon. I think video gaming needs an expansion, and it's just a matter of where you would put it. Considering they had multiple drop vendors for the gaming room this year, and they brought several groups in at the last minute to do the video gaming room, it was quite successful this year. But now it's time to focus on it. So, what rooms could be reallocated? Let's start off with the splitting up of Live 3. Live 3 was vastly underutilized this year. If that room could somehow be split up, which I'm not sure it can, it would be great to split one part into video gaming and another part into perhaps some other space. Brought up at closing ceremonies to be reusing some of the LARP space. Unfortunately, the LARP space is located on the 4th floor, which is a little bit of a challenge to access, but that is also another option. Perhaps the most controversial would be to reduce the size of tabletop gaming or move it somewhere else. Now, I do not tabletop game, but I will say it does seem to be a popular part of this convention. The issue is that space is located directly in the middle of the convention, and that space could be very attractive for other purposes. Another option is perhaps losing a viewing room, which these days, watching anime at conventions, people do it, but it is not what it used to be. I'm not sure there's a right answer here because this could lead to fighting in departments, it could lead to problems, and maybe it's not worth it. But I do believe where this convention is in its age, you have to start looking at how to improve things, maybe start shaking some stuff up, and I think this would be a good move for them to look into. Overall, it was like Zenkaikon didn't miss 2 conventions. It kept running like a well-oiled machine. They had another stable year. It was a good year. They put a great amount of effort and had a great result for it. I'm giving the convention a B. They just did good work. There's nothing else to add here. Thanks for watching.